Hello and welcome to FPL Mates, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2021-22 season. My name is Dan, and a lot of us guys, when we first start playing FPL, one of the first things we learn is to use the fixtures to make the best decisions, to pick those nice players. So look at the fixtures, who's got a run of really nice, easy fixtures, and maybe let's try and go for some of those players from those teams with the good fixtures coming up. Well, what if I was to tell you guys that the way you've been using fixtures all this time is completely wrong? And there's actually a better way of doing it, and it's far more, I guess, a little bit more complicated than you perhaps think when just looking at the fixture ticker from FPL, the Fantasy Premier League website provides. It's actually pretty useless, and I think we could do a lot better, and using it in a much better way gives us such more of a much more bigger advantage. So whether you think form is more important, whether you think fixtures is more important, this way of using fixtures is a guaranteed way to do far better at FPL. So we're going to share that with you today. I know it's a bit of a bold claim, but we're going to share that with you today, guys. So if you do enjoy this video, please do leave a like, and if you really enjoy this video and you want more FPL stuff on your screens every single day, please do subscribe as well. Why the devil not? Now, the fixture tables used in this video have been provided by Fantasy Football Hub, who are also the very kind sponsor of this video. They have an excellent fixtures tool, a fixtures ticker tool that is infinitely useful. It really is, where you can kind of order fixtures by difficulty of all kinds of metrics. You can scale it to weeks 1 through 6, or game weeks 1 through 4, or game weeks 1 through 10. You can deselect certain teams, you can select certain teams only. Do go check it out. There's a link at the top of the description where you can get 25% off Fantasy Football Hub. Super worth it indeed. But let's have a look at some of these fixtures. So this, what you see in front of you, is fairly similar to what you might expect as a fixture table, a fixture ticker table. Everything in order of who's got the best fixtures, who has got the worst fixtures. The best ones at the top, the worst ones at the bottom, you can see there. I think this is fairly normal. Obviously, if you're used to just using the Premier League site for fixture ratings, which I really wouldn't really recommend at all. If you are just using the Premier League one, perhaps you're not used to seeing something in as much detail as this. You know, on the Premier League website, I think there's only like 3 different colours. It's easy, medium, or hard, which, to be fair, is the graphics I use in my videos. I like to keep it pretty simple and use ratings like that as well. But if you want something a little bit more detailed, like I say, Fantasy Football Hub do provide this really nice tool that I like to use for rating the fixture difficulty, if you like. So here we go. Who's got the best fixtures? Well, Brighton's got the best fixtures. Who's got the worst fixtures? Well, Chelsea have got the worst fixtures. And for a lot of people, it really is as simple as that. It really is simple as that. So that's how it works. But this is what I'm kind of trying to tell you in this video, guys, that this is not how I personally use fixtures. I think it needs to be a little bit more nuanced than this, because as we well know, when we're looking at fixtures, typically speaking, when we're looking at attackers, we need to take a lot of their form into consideration. So for a player like Iheanacho at the end of last season, he was in such red hot form that you knew he was just going to score against anyone. So it doesn't even matter what fixture he was playing in. So maybe slightly less credence needs to be paid for the fixtures for those attackers. So if you're looking at the beginning of the season, definitely we do want to be targeting players for their fixtures, because we don't know what their form is. They don't have form, if you like, right now, so we do need to target the fixtures for the attackers. But as we get later on into the season, I think that fixtures for attackers in particular becomes less and less important. Still kind of important, but less and less important. And when we're looking at attackers and defenders, this table doesn't really help us that much, and this is kind of the whole point of this video. This table is not that useful because, for example, let's take a team like West Ham, for example. West Ham a really strong attack. You know that when you play West Ham, they're probably going to score against you. You know, they've got so many goal scorers in their team. Antonio, Bowen, you know, Ben Rama's going to come in and score some goals. We know Soucek's going to score some goals as well. You've got the creativity of players like Creswell. They've got some really nice attacking players that are likely to score against you. On the other hand, if you are playing against West Ham, whilst they're likely to score against you, you're also likely to score against them. They're actually not that much of a strong defence. We've kind of seen that. They concede quite a few goals, and they continue to concede a few goals in their pre-season as well. So they're scoring a lot of goals, but they're conceding a lot of goals as well, which means are they an easy fixture or a hard fixture? That doesn't make sense. They are easy to score against, but they're hard to keep clean sheets against. So there's two factors there in the fixture. So for this reason, I am a huge advocate of using two fixture tickers, not just one overall fixture tickers, using a fixture ticker for attack and a fixture ticker for defense. So is a fixture difficult for your attackers? Is it difficult for your forwards and your midfielders? Okay, is it difficult? Is it easy? And then separately, is this fixture easy for your defenders and your goalkeepers? It's often a very, very different result there, and that is what this is all about. So, without further ado, that was a weird way of saying that. Without further ado, guys, let's have a look at the fixture ticker, the fixture table, the fixture difficulty ranker for the attackers. And as you can see, everything's changed orders. We've changed order a little bit. So this is the key difference here. So whereas you might think, oh, I've got a player like I've got a player like Callum Wilson or someone like that. Before we looked at the fixture ticker, and Newcastle rated like 7th, 8th, 9th, something like that on the overall fixture ticker. But for Callum Wilson, in reality, his fixtures are a little bit easier than for the defenders at Newcastle. So for Callum Wilson, it's great, whereas for, I don't know, Clark or someone, or Dubravka, it's a little bit harder. So this is kind of what we're seeing right now. So Newcastle are now up to 5th. So whereas you might have thought, oh, Callum Wilson, he just has some average fixtures when you look at the overall difficulty of the fixtures, it's not true. It's not. He actually has some very favourable fixtures, and you can see that starting off with West Ham there, which you can see is a lighter blue shade of on the colouring. So the lighter blue shades are obviously the easier fixtures, and the redder shades are the harder fixtures. Just in case you hadn't worked that one out already, hopefully that was pretty obvious. Hopefully I don't need to explain that to you guys. But yeah, you can see West Ham at home, opening fixture, is actually a pretty favourable fixture for Newcastle to play against. So suddenly everything's changed up a little bit, and you can see that Manchester United have now jumped to the top of the table. So whereas before it was Brighton at the top, now it's Manchester United at the top. So for attackers, when we're looking at our attacking players from Manchester United, they have a very good run. Leeds, Southampton, Wolves, Newcastle, West Ham, Aston Villa. Some really, really nice fixtures there. Same with Everton. Everton have jumped up into 2nd place. Really nice run of fixtures. Southampton, Leeds, Brighton, Burnley, Aston Villa, Norwich. So for Manchester United, we do want to go for some Manchester United attackers. For Everton, we're probably going to be looking at DCL there as well. For Brighton, however, whereas before, on the overall balance, Brighton looked like they had the best fixtures. When you look at this for attackers, do we actually want to go for Brighton attackers? I don't know. I don't know if we actually do. Obviously, 3rd is still very good, but it's certainly not as exciting as when they were at the top of the table. And you can also see here the Watford are up in 4th there as well, which is quite nice. Got Newcastle, West Ham, Liverpool up there as well, which is all pretty good. So you can see the Spurs have the worst attacking fixtures, followed by Norwich, who you kind of probably expected there. Chelsea there in 3rd bottom, which I guess is these kind of things are probably putting us off certain players, I would imagine. So Norwich, Timo Pukki, you probably don't want to go for him straight away, do you? Spurs, you wouldn't want to go for any Spurs attackers other than Son. I would still consider Son because he's going to be the main man, and he's going to basically be able to score against anyone. But it certainly doesn't put you off players like Dele Alli or Lucas Moura, who's obviously been playing well in pre-season because of the difficulty of these fixtures. Same kind of thing with Chelsea. After the opening fixture, it doesn't look amazing, but there are a few opportunities there. Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, maybe some goals could be scored against Tottenham as well there for Chelsea, but it's not looking amazing. So yeah, you can kind of see there now that things look a little bit different for attackers when you order it like this. Of course, we are now going to look at defenders, obviously. And here we have it. Things have changed again. And of course, Brighton have shot up to 1st when we're looking at the best fixtures for defenders. So that's why we're liking the look of players like Sanchez in goal, because these fixtures for a Brighton defender: Burnley, Watford, Everton, Brentford, Leicester, Crystal Palace. Aside from Leicester, none of these teams are known for scoring goals. None of them whatsoever. Brentford's certainly not in the Premier League anyway. So that looks amazing from a defensive point of view. So whereby they were 3rd place in terms of how difficult are these games for their attackers. Because for Brighton, when you look at their fixtures for their attackers, Watford in the Championship were a pretty solid defence. Everton can be a pretty solid defence. Of course, they've got a new manager as well. Some of these teams here that you see in front of you can be pretty stubborn, defensively. But they don't score many goals, which makes it them really nice fixtures to go for Brighton for Brighton defenders. This is what I'm saying. This is the right way to use fixtures. This is the right way to do it. Look at them in two factors. How good are the offences and how good are the defences? That's kind of what we're looking at here. We also see that Liverpool have shot up into second, so this is why it's so important to be going for Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson and players like that, because these fixtures are wonderful from a defensive point of view. You know, you've got Burnley there, even, you know, Chelsea, who aren't a particularly strong attack, or certainly weren't last season. Crystal Palace there, weak attack. Burnley, weak attack. So it's going to be really nice for your defenders there. And Aston Villa are also perhaps a slightly surprise candidate, quite high up the list there. You know, we've got Chelsea and Manchester United as the big banana skins there. But aside from that, Aston Villa have got some absolutely cracking fixtures in terms of their defenders. So Martinez gang, rise up, I suppose, in that regard. So yeah, you can kind of see that things have changed. Chelsea are now dropped to the bottom in terms of their defenders. So if you're thinking about going for a player like Reece James or Azpilicueta, or I don't know what, a Ben Chilwell perhaps, maybe you need to reconsider, because after that Crystal Palace game, Arsenal, Liverpool, Aston Villa, Tottenham, Man City, all teams that can score a goal or two, aren't they, really? So that's going to be kind of difficult there for those Chelsea defenders. As for the Southampton defenders and Crystal Palace defenders, interestingly, Spurs defenders, and I would never recommend going for the Spurs defenders, Spurs have jumped up to 9th in this table for defenders. So it really does show that you could go from bottom, you could be considered to have the worst fixtures for your attackers, but the best fixtures for your defenders. There really is so much scope here, and that's why it's so important to use these tables in two ways, in the attacking way and in the defending way, not just the one overall table. So there you go, guys. That is pretty much the whole point of this video. That's pretty much the whole advice, and I really do hope this is going to be useful to you guys. I implore you to take screenshots of this video of the attacking and the defensive league tables, if you like, or of fixture difficulty, because I know they're going to be so useful to you, and that's exactly what I'm trying to provide for you, something that's really, really useful to you, and a really good way of using fixtures in the best way possible, because it's all about, when you're trying to get an extra advantage in FPL, you've got to make that one extra step, and for fixtures, the one extra step is simply dividing the fixture difficulty into attack and defense, and it's such a huge difference when you are able to do that. But there you have it, guys. If you did enjoy this video, please do leave a like. Hopefully you really found it helpful. And of course, subscribe if you're new around here too. Like I said, guys, the fixture difficulty ticker, if you want to use the fixture ticker yourself and have a play around with it and use it for different sets of game weeks and stuff like that, do go check out Fantasy Football Hub. Use the link in my description for 25% off your subscription. It's infinitely useful. I use Fantasy Football Hub obsessively because it's just so useful to have that tool for playing FPL, basically. So go check that out in the description. But aside from that, guys, I hope you did enjoy this video, and I suppose I will see you later, mates, for so much more FPL content. See you later, mates. Bye bye.